Good morning. Well, it's another beautiful winter morning here at the cabin, but today we're doing something a little bit different because some of you will know that after the cyclone storm that hit here, I had a couple of big trees fall down and I was interested in whether it was worth milling those logs because it seems like really good timber. I'm pretty sure it's silky oak, which is used in fine furniture. And after I showed that in a video, I had a local guy, Ben, who has his own business, Evergreen Timber Co., reach out. Turns out he comes out and does mobile timber milling. He's going to show us the process, what's involved, and kind of give me an idea of whether it's worth something that I do myself as well.
Welcome. Thanks, man. This is sick. It's actually so surreal to be here.
Guys, Ben.
Here we are.
So Ben and I have established a location for where the mill is going to go, and he's just heading that way now. I'm going to then rendezvous with him with the red cedar I've got here and bring it over there with the excavator because we're going to do it all in one spot under the fig. And for those of you that are in the know, we're going to be working with Occy today. So what's the plan?
Plan is we're going to have 3 zones.
Yeah.
Log zone, milling zone, and then we'll have offcuts and firewood zone.
I like it.
Okay, man.
So Ben told me about this technique you do with the excavator where you pinch it between the bucket and this guy. But now we've got to take it on a journey and the plan is to only do one trip. That's why I'm grabbing this guy now. Really want to minimize tearing up the beautiful grass.
Okay, so to identify this tree, just use an app. So I took a photo of the bark, and the app is called PlantNet, and it can identify a bunch of plants around Australia. So I don't have service here, but when I checked it up at the house, it said with 8% certainty, which isn't very high, this is an Australian silky oak, Grevillea robusta.
I reckon it might have rolled if you didn't put that behind it.
Maybe.
We demand satisfaction. It was close. He chopped it.
What we'll do is get you back there.
And then put a chain.
Chain on it, that's about 8 meters long. And that will get you on the flat enough to yank it back.
Okay, cool.
So do you mind if I hook you straight? Yeah, go for it. Okay.
This is a big enough D-shackle for you? Is it too big?
I think that'll work. Get the next one.
So this is the access, or lack thereof, to the next few pieces.
So we have about 20 meters of log.
Yeah.
But it's on a slope you can't tell like this. We're still attached to the root ball. So what we'll do is I'll chain this.
Yeah.
It's not going to go anywhere, but I'll put a chain around it in case it falls and traps. So we'll hold the bucket there. Yeah. On the root ball. I'm going to do a chainsaw cut through here. You're going to pull the root ball toward you, and hopefully I won't die there. And then, yeah, we'll hook the chain up and then give it a drag.
Have a look at this one. Is this the biggest one yet?
Yeah,
pretty close, huge. Eh? Look at this end. Love this thing.
This is the pith right here. Usually
the
it's more the pith, it's called.
Yeah.
and it's usually pretty adolescent timber, not very good for like structural stuff or building. Usually it's right in the center, but this one had a bit of a growth to it. So instead of milling around the center, we're going to pretend that it's there and then just do our cuts there because it's going to straighten up as we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, silky smooth.
Supervisor's on watch over here.
So we're going to mill the first couple logs, and then my goal is to teach Max here enough so he can mill a few boards himself. It will all make sense soon, I promise. This pith is more centered here, almost like dead center this way, and just off left centered here. What we're going to do is we're going to measure from this point, and that's going to be our center set. As far as safety goes for Lucas Mills, it's pretty much as safe as you can get. There's a swing blade, and this just goes back and forth. So as long as you're not right here, you're safe. So this does our vertical cuts back.
I don't know why I thought you cut it with the chainsaw. This does the cutting.
There's two attachments. So there is the swing blade that cuts more dimensional timber, posts, beams, rails, stuff like that. And then the slabber has a big chainsaw on it, and that can get really big, wide slab timber. Good catch, bro. What we're gonna do is off of this top layer, we're gonna get some stickers to sticker out and air dry in a stack over there.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna actually get some nice, good furniture grade quarter sawn bits.
Ben was just pointing out this pattern. Very nice. And that's kind of silky oak, like signature silky oak.
Yeah, the signature silky oak. A lot of times you'll see a purple streak like this on the sapline, which is an added feature, but the snaky sort of patterns are really what we're after for quarter sawn timber. And we're just cutting all these oversized, so when they get planed down at the end, you'll have this nice golden flex straight through your log.
So we up from 8% now?
Yeah, this is 100% silky oak.
Dude, that's so sick. I can't believe that much timber came out of that. Yeah. So now we stack?
Stacking time.
So right now we're making a level base for the timber to all go on, and then we stack it up. And Ben was saying like a really important part of the storage is one, getting it level, but also getting good airflow through it so it doesn't kind of get moldy, and you also want to protect it from too much sun whilst it dries out. Wow, is this going to have too much overhang?
Oh wow, these are long.
These are long.
No.
He's like
on all three.
Yeah. Leo, you're a naughty boy. Alright, this looks like another good bit of timber. Have you had the same brush for 4 years as well?
It's actually a week old.
This thing is... Oi, watch out, that doesn't come off.
Yeah. So what Max is doing, he's just sealing this end grain so it doesn't split and crack as it dries out over time. The porous timber that silky oak has is actually more prone to cracking than most timbers. So if the brush would work well, we just want to get all the heart wheel sealed in as it dries out.
Your digger. Yeah. So Ben before did give me a bit of a rough estimate of how much he reckons all this timber would be worth once it's kind of milled. Feel free to have a guess now, and I'll fill you in a little bit later because we want to see exactly how much we've got left. But it definitely surprised me. Is it the kind of case where the first cut is generally the slowest one because you're getting it all, like you're getting the height and level set and everything, and then after that you're just working off of that?
Yeah, basically once we're set up and we've cut a few cuts, I just know all the thought work has already been done.
Yeah.
The whole log, exactly how many boards we're getting out and each dimension on each board. Right over that.
Day one done, and we're running out of light, so we are coming back tomorrow, and I'm kind of excited about that.
Drive safe.
Well, what a bloody luxury. And before we wrap things up for tonight, I just wanted to say that June is Men's Mental Health Month, and it has been genuinely so nice to have Ben out there and have some real mental health chats while we do some kind of traditionally gruff, manly things like chop wood and haul lumber. Have you been to a therapist before?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, moving here, it can be kind of hard to make new friends.
I think worshiping something big of yourself is important as well, because it's so unnecessary in life.
That man is a beauty, and honestly, it doesn't feel like we just met today. A lot of you will know why I really try my hardest to normalize conversations around mental health. Not only was I unfortunate enough to attend multiple deaths by suicide when I worked as a paramedic, but on top of that, I've lost an uncle, I've lost several work colleagues, and I've lost someone that I love to suicide, and have really learned the hard way just how important it is that we need to normalize these conversations. People need to be able to speak up, and we need to acknowledge that the old school approach of toughing it out and bottling things up just does not work. In fact, it's really dangerous. So please, I encourage you, if you're watching and you're going through something, please seek help. It is a sign of strength, not weakness. And if by me opening up on here about how I'm feeling and talking about my struggles helps even just one of you be able to do the same, then for me, it's all worth it. A lot of you will know that I've been seeing a therapist for years through the online therapy platform BetterHelp, and I'm so stoked that they're once again today's paid partner, because it allows me to talk more about this. A therapist can truly be a lifesaver. They'll listen, ask questions, and help you see things from a new perspective. They can give you advice and techniques to make lasting positive changes in your life. It takes strength to face what you're feeling and courage to take the next step. BetterHelp makes starting therapy easier, more flexible, and judgment-free, so you can begin your mental health journey on your own terms. Simply fill out a questionnaire and you'll be matched with a therapist in as little as a couple of days. With over 7,000 reviews and a 4.3 rating on Trustpilot, BetterHelp is a platform you can trust. Click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/Max Occy and you will receive 10% off your first month of therapy. Honestly, I could not recommend seeing a therapist highly enough. Please, if you're watching and you're struggling, be strong enough to ask for help. And now it's time for dinner. That sunshine couldn't hold off just one more day. I mean, hey, it is the rainforest, I guess. It was inevitable it was going to rain eventually. We're back at it. So right now we're trying to get the bow out of all this timber, essentially. There's quite a bit. I got to store this for about a year or
about
2
a
years.
year and a half to 2. And as long as we can get the first 3 months solid in the shape, when we pop these last straps off, it should be somewhat straight. If you were to throw this straight in the kiln,
yeah,
it would all just explode, because it'd be drying out far too fast. But I would probably suggest with this, because we're not in a hurry and it's furniture grade, we would just dry it for as long as possible, put a moisture meter on it, and if it's reading between 12 and 15%, then it's ready to go. Otherwise, throw it in the kiln and then it's good.
It's already looking way straighter.
It'll just give us more yield at the end.
And if you're confused about what Ben's saying by getting more yield at the end, essentially these at the moment are rough sawn. So at the end, what I'll do is cut down so I get a dead straight line. So you're trimming kind of bits off the edge to get that really straight piece. Same with using a thicknesser to take off a bit of thickness so it's all perfectly straight boards for furniture making. Kind of whatever we choose to make, which is kind of exciting.
All right, so on our first log, we did quarter sawn boards, which were cutting boards this way to get that grain this direction. But it had so much warp in it, I'm just not sure it's going to give us enough yields for what we want to do. So just for you guys to know, this is the pith, that's no good. This is the sap line, that's no good. And then the rest of this is the heartwood, and that's really good. So with this next log, we're not going to do quarter sawn boards, we're going to do what's called back sawn or flat sawn, and we're going to cut boards across like this to make rainbows in our boards. And then when we get to the side, we're going to do the same thing this way.
Nice. Sorry, what's that called? That
called
one?
Flat sawn.
Flat sawn.
Where you get your rainbows. And it comes out straight, but the only thing with this is the patterns of the grains aren't as intense because you're not seeing so many of them this way. You're seeing more relaxed sort of grain like that. It's why it's called flat sawn.
I feel like I'm learning so much.
All right, you ready?
We're ready.
Ready to rock? Flat sawn.
You're comfy there in the sawdust, buddy. A good spot right under the Lucas mill, huh? Okay, so we're now on to our third log of the silky oak. We're going to do much the same cut this time, so we'll speed through this one, but hopefully get a fun angle of it.
What I got is steady motion. What I want is what you got already rolling. What we got, nobody stopping. So move along, 'cause what we got is something so good, so good. Going on, we got momentum. Something so good, so good.
Definitely. Back number 2 is done.
They look tight.
Yeah. So that's just the difference between back sawn and quarter sawn. How's the gym going, by the way?
Really good. Having that cold last week kind of kept me out of it a bit, but yeah. I'm waiting for Glenn to get back because he's a personal trainer. So unlike the silky oak, which has only been down for a couple of months, this red cedar log has been down for pretty much the whole time I've been here. It fell kind of quite early on when I was here, and I'm interested kind of see how long a log stays good for when it is on the ground. How long can they be down for and still be millable?
It's a good question. For softwoods, it's going to be a lot less time because there's just that weakness in the wood inherently. With hardwoods, it could be, I've milled a teak wood that's been down for maybe like 20, 30 years. And it'll have a bit of that, the weakest parts probably eaten by the fungus, by the other little insects. Like if you come in, look here, like these are little borers, and they're just gonna grow up, look for little weaknesses in the timber, and just keep boring it until they grow up into big borers. Obviously we're in a rainforest here, so they're just gonna be year-round life boring down, and it's actually the way nature intended it to.
I do think, and we were talking about it before, this is definitely the most environmentally friendly way to mill timber. It's already fallen naturally on the property, and I think so often it doesn't get used.
And I would encourage everyone to get someone in your community that has like a passion for timber to get a hold of a Lucas mill or something similar and use the logs that have come down in wind or need to be salvaged or harvested selectively, because the value of timber has just been going up, and it's going to be super valuable in the future as well moving forward, so people don't think of it as a commodity.
For sure. And I was saying it would actually be a really cool community thing to have a Lucas mill that you could share in amongst the community would be the dream. And I'd love to do that here and with my neighbours down the road, so maybe I'll have to start talking to them. Okay, so we've kind of tromped all over this one, so it's a bit harder to see, but that's the silky oak. And then this, you can see much more of the pink tones, is the red cedar. And we did end up getting, what, like quite a decent, all 8 or 9 of those pieces are all usable red cedar pieces. So stoked on that. It's definitely a fair bit straighter. What's like the ideal time frame of trees being down?
If your arborist cuts it or it falls down in the wind, you want to cut it, seal the end straight away, and mill it straight away.
Oh really? Like as soon as possible is the best?
That is the best.
What about if you say it comes down or you cut it down, you know you can't mill it straight away, it's still good to seal the ends straight away?
Yeah, so seal the ends and then just stack it above ground. That's all I'd say. If it sits in ground, it's okay too, but yeah.
Well, that was sitting literally underground.
It was underground and it turned out great.
Yeah.
So
nice.
She's gonna start a fire. Wherever she goes is always.
Things you do for the shot, huh?
She'll laugh at the rain and steal all your confidence. The way you're feeling is no accident.
Welcome back to Ben and Max's Timber Yard. We're just getting this one all pretty for you because she is an absolute beauty. So Ben came up with the idea to do some thicker square ones because I do want to make a dining table when I have a little bit bigger space to put this in. And wow, have a look at this piece. So nice and thick on the edge, but look at this markings on there. And that's what, 4 meters long, that piece?
Yeah, 4 meters, 125 by 125. Convert it to whatever for the North Americans.
I was about to say, I haven't asked, but how do you find millimeters as opposed to inches?
I've been converted.
I was about to say, have you seen the light? Because
I've seen the light. I've come around.
You don't want to talk about 17 16ths or whatever the you guys talk about.
14 Chevrolets divided by 13 burgers.
Yeah.
Nah, I think I've been through it enough to realize, just for like doing basic math or maths around finding lineal, finding dimensional, cubic, it's just so much easier for the Dewey Decimal System.
I don't even have to add any more to that. You've heard it from the man himself, who has vast experience in both. Yeah, that one's really nice. I like the darker colouring there.
Yeah, purple.
This is some real like ASMR-y kind of shit right here.
You're getting close.
No. Oh. Wow. If that didn't rip, that's kind of frustrating me a little bit, but so otherwise that was unreal.
That one is finished slab.
Here's one I prepared earlier. Would you say the excavator, you or Leo's been the MVP?
It'd be pretty selfish to say me, but
I think probably it couldn't have happened without you. The excavator has definitely been a good number 2.
Oh, we wouldn't even be here if not for that guy. There's no way we're pulling these logs up the hill without it.
Well, we're getting close to the end, but the rain couldn't quite hold off.
It's fun though. We got like 90% of the work done.
I know. This is all we got left. This guy. I know you were saying you don't normally like to put a value on the timber, but I feel like for YouTube,
we can do a ballpark for you.
We can do a ballpark for you guys.
We'll tell you at the end.
You're a good man, Ben. You're a good man.
Getting through it.
Fully cracked open.
Yeah, so this was a plinth slab, and it just has so much tension pulling it apart with those grains. It's popped. I've never seen it this dramatic though. That was the last cut. The last cut though.
The last cut. He's done. That rain got a little chaotic.
It did.
Just for a second there, but wow, look at these slabs. Oh, that is beautiful. That is going to make such nice furniture, and I just think it's going to be so cool having this stuff as furniture in the house here and on the cabin, and I just think it tells so much more of a story. I also think that's another reason to mill the timber that is on your property, because it just has that extra kind of sentimental value as well. Like, this was a beautiful tree, and I'm glad that it can still kind of exist on the property in one way at least. Supervisors are happy that we've done it as well.
Enough
variation.
A variation to really do whatever you want to do.
That is the final piece. Now we're just going to strap all these together. So not only will that hold these all together, keep their shape better, it also means that if I want to transport and move these down the line, I'll be able to pick them up with the excavator and they should all stay together.
So, I mean, I'm going to say conservatively, we have about $20,000 worth of silky oak and cedar.
What?
Once it's dried out. Once it's dried out. So we milled 6 cubic meters of timber. We probably have 5. That's good select grade. And when it dries out, it'll maybe even be more like 4. So that's how we got the number of 20,000, because if you have 6,000 per cube for 6, that's over 30,000, but we don't have probably over 30,000. So a conservative estimate is probably between 15 and 25,000 for what this comes up with. The finished timber itself, if you were to build it out, would be even worth more than that. But we're just going off of the market price for silky oak, a little bit of cedar. That's where we got the number.
I feel like someone on Antique Roadshow that's just found out they're rich. Dude, that is so freaking cool. So now we know we're sitting on a gold mine here. I want to just say a huge thank you to Ben. As you've probably seen in the branding, his company is Evergreen Timber Co. And you might not realize this, but I actually messaged Ben through, I saw he was doing stuff in the local area here and killing it. And turns out he actually followed my YouTube videos as well, and he was keen to come help share some knowledge with you guys, share some knowledge with me. So I'm so grateful. So please give Ben a lot of love. He's also got his own Instagram for his business and YouTube. I'll link them here, but on your YouTube, you're kind of just showing what's involved in this as well, right?
Yeah, the behind the scenes, but also just the different timbers that we use. And then the creative uses that my clients choose to make with them, whether it's furniture or fences or anything that they can come up with. So, yeah.
I love it. I love it. And I know for some of you, this will be really different content to what you normally watch. But honestly, I think just like it's important to know where, if you're someone that eats meat, where your meat comes from, you know, where everything comes from. This is where timber comes from. I feel like these days it's so packaged, and to see it in this form is so cool. So, dude, absolutely loved it. And the final question that was kind of what I wanted to know, is it worth people milling their own timber? I think with this amount, like you've said, 20K, how much would it be to hire a Lucas mill? Do you know roughly how much they are to hire out?
If you have a professional sawmiller using it, it'd probably be around $1,000 for a day.
Yeah.
But if you're getting that back, that's going to be worth it.
100%.
If you're going to take it to a mill, there's just added transport and lifting costs and then managing storage.
Kiln drying if you're going
kiln
that
drying. So I'd say if you do have access to land, logs, and somebody that can mobile mill, or you're willing to learn the skill yourself, which is really fun, by the way, yeah, it's worth the investment.
100%. And like you said, $1,000 a day. We've done this in 2 days, and now we've got potentially 20 grand worth of timber here. Yes, you've got to wait a couple of years for it to dry, but I feel like people aren't patient enough anymore, and this is a patient game. Thank you guys so much for watching. Ben, I could not thank you more. I'm going to now help him with pack up and hope we don't get bogged. But dude,
you're so welcome. I enjoyed it.
If you are on the North Coast, New South Wales, South Coast Goldie, hit up Ben for some logging needs. I'll see you guys in the next one. In the meantime, be kind to yourself, be kind to one another. Bye guys.
See you guys. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others.